City of Heroes has been rated T by the ESRB for mild language, mild violence, and adult situations. It has been approved for all players aged 13 and older. Hey folks, welcome back to City Heroes. I just happened to be in place to watch somebody deploy a team transporter. It's always cool when I see that because it drops out of the sky out of nowhere and teleports you to wherever you need to be. We're going to continue with, what was her name? Let me see. We're going to continue with Christine Lansdale's story arc, The Mysterious General Z. Our current mission is to capture Armand and his guards. Got another message from the Mysterious General Z. He says you should talk to a senator named Gil Armand about his foreign policy work. He even knows where to find him, which is something the police should be interested in. Gil Armand was indicted just this morning for his connection to the Sky Raiders. The police took most of his papers as evidence, but Armand himself disappeared. If you could capture this fugitive politician, we could get 2 jobs done at once. According to General Z, you'll be able to find Gil Armand in an unused section of the sewers. So we're going to be going into the sewers. I mostly have a full set of inspirations here, so I'm all set. I've got 2 of my defensive powers on. I don't have my boosting powers. You know, obviously you use those when you need them. I'm all ready. Oh, hold on. Okay. Now we're ready. I have to admit that it's a little painful right now for me to use some of the controls because my control setup is that I use the number keys above the primary keyboard on my computer. You know, the Q, W, E, R, T, Y keys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's my I use that for power activation. Maneuvering though is with my numerical keys. I've got 7 strays me left, 9 strays me right, 8 advances me forward, 2 advances me backwards, 4 turns me to the left, and 6 turns me to the right, and 0 makes me jump. Well, the thing is, I normally operate the 0 key with my thumb, and yesterday I managed to slice my thumb open while cleaning one of my cutters. A lot of you guys know I'm a retired chef. Well, it doesn't mean I stopped cooking, and it doesn't mean I don't have all the fancy tools, and I was using one of the fancy tools yesterday, making, basically I turned an onion into super fine chop. I made shrimp scampi yesterday, and it was wonderful. Thank you very much. And but since I didn't have any scallions, not scallions, but shallots, I decided to use a regular onion, which is a perfectly fine substitution if you do it right. And so I put the onion in a soup. I chopped it small and then put it into one of those slap choppers, the ones, the tubes with the blades of plop, 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 that kind of thing, to make it an ultra fine chop. Where's the other guy? He's behind that pillar. Okay, well, and while cleaning it yesterday, it wasn't even while using it, was while cleaning it, I managed to cut my thumb open. And, you recognize as a chef that it sometimes happens. Getting cut is a hazard of the profession, but it never feels good. You never get to the point where you're like, oh, hey, it's just a cut. No, it always hurts. You always take the time to you stop and bandage it, because I was bleeding quite profusely, right? And so I put a Band-Aid on it and all that number. It's not bleeding anymore, but putting pressure on it by, say, pressing down on the 0 key like this, ow. I do that wrong without thinking about putting my fingers in the right place, and suddenly I'm in a lot of pain. So yeah. while we're on the subject of random trivia about my life, right now I've got a Doobie Brothers song in my head. On my Facebook page, I am doing this music countdown. I am a music fanatic. I love music. I was raised to appreciate music, and I attribute that to my mother and to my aunts and uncles, and to my grandparents on both sides. The only decent thing that, one of the few decent things that my maternal grandmother ever did was encourage my interest in music. I don't have any talent for it. I have an okay singing voice. My singing voice is not amazing. I would never be able to make it as a professional singer. But I have a pleasant enough voice. I can carry a tune, and I'm not in danger of embarrassing myself if I'm singing in public, because I do have, it's not a professional level voice, but it's pleasant enough. Just like most people can sing, at least a little, But and I actually sat down and figured out who in my life provided what musical influence. My mother gave me some interest in basic pop music. Plus, she introduced me to Broadway, and the rather rich volume of music that you can find among Broadway musicals and things like that. Jesus Christ Superstar, things like that. There were others, but that's the only one that comes to mind off the top of my head while I'm talking, fighting Skyriggers. But my father brought in folk music. His parents, my granddad, my granny, they taught me all about country music and the Grand Ole Opry, and introduced me to such geniuses as Roy Clark. Oh my God. If you have never listened to Roy Clark play the guitar, you need to, because the man was one of the greatest guitarists ever to live on the earth. I am not exaggerating. I really am not. Anyway, that was their contribution. Old-fashioned country gospel. That's another thing they introduced me to. And my other grandparents introduced me to opera and European, Scottish and English gospel. The church music of the old country. And they also introduced me to music that you wouldn't expect anybody to like. Like I learned who Perry Como was from my grandfather, and I got to tell you, man was a great musician. He produced some fantastic tunes. Just because it wasn't rock and roll does not keep his music from being amazing. Especially because I have never found a single genre of music that I couldn't name at least one song that I really liked about. I'm serious. I'm absolutely serious. No genre in which I couldn't say I like that part of it. My aunts and uncles, that is my, on both sides, my Aunt Pat and my Aunt Sandy, who are my father's sisters, they introduced me to the Beatles. They introduced me to, that era of pop music, I guess you'd call it. The late 60s, early 70s pop music, influenced by the Beatles, Herman's Hermits, The Lovin' Spoonful, things like that. My Uncle Charlie and my Aunt Lenan introduced me to Kiss. They introduced me to Iron Maiden. They introduced, heavy metal. And oh my gosh, isn't that a rich source of music? But more than the actual genres themselves, what they introduced me to was the concept that music is art. It's motivational. You know, you listen to music and your mood changes. I have an actual playlist on Spotify, in fact, that I call Break Glass in Case of Depression. I suffer chronic depression. And it's all a matter of brain chemistry. You know, depression, a lot of people are like, oh, you're sad. No, what is going on is my brain, the chemistry in my brain, is working against me to manipulate my feelings into the darker, more, you know, I get tired, I get in pain, it actually hurts, things like that. Well, it has been proven that music can affect the, you know, what chemicals, what hormones, what whatever you want to call it, are being produced by your brain. You can literally manipulate your brain chemistry by listening to music. I have a playlist on Spotify, Break Glass in Case of Depression. It is songs, it's a list of songs that have, over the course of my life, proven themselves to make me feel better. It just does. The songs on this list make me feel better. Well, the first song from this playlist is Listen to the Music by the Doobie Brothers. Old 70s band. They're in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They are amazing, the Doobie Brothers. If you're unfamiliar, give them a try. And they have a song, and it's from, 1971, this song. And it's called Listen to the Music. What the people need is a way to make them smile. It's not that hard to do if you know how. Gotta get a message, get it on through. It's an amazing song, and it never fails to make me feel better. So it's running in my head in a continuous loop right now, and I don't know why, but I'm not complaining. So, you know, I was thinking what to do for dinner, because I'm the chef, therefore I cook. I'm just, you know, before I retired as a chef, my family would occasionally, you know, would acknowledge the fact that since I spent the entire day at work cooking, maybe I didn't feel like cooking when I got home. But of course now I'm retired, which means I'm home all the time. So they're like, "So what's for dinner tonight, Jack?" And you know, I have to admit, I don't mind. I mean, once in a while it would be nice if I could go, I don't know, what are you making, and get away with it. But for the most part, now that I'm retired, my part of the housekeeping, my part of the taking care of the family is feeding them. Oh hey, we missed one little bit of enemy. I'm not even going to bother. You know. So I'm the guy that cooks. I'm the guy that maintains the kitchen. I do the dishes, things like that. And that's pretty much all I'm asked to do. So it's not like I'm being seriously, you know, I'm not being treated as Cinderella here. But tonight I'm thinking hot dogs. Just standard hot dogs. Okay, Christine Lansdale. Looks like Senator Armand wasn't lying. The Sky Raiders hit the police van that were going to carry evidence tying Armand to their organization. You got Armand himself, at least. That's one fewer villain out on the streets. So let's ask about another mission. General Z just sent me the location of Sky Raider base we should be interested in. According to Z, this base is where Sky Raiders are keeping the evidence that links Senator Gil Armand with their organization. The police sure would like to see that evidence returned. Of course, you'll have to go through the Sky Raiders to get it back. All right, and this is at Kings Row. Okay. So yeah, I'm thinking hot dogs. Well done hot dogs are a great meal. You know, they're nothing ashamed about eating a hot dog. Of course, in my opinion, there are, but not all hot dogs are created equal. I will admit that. In fact, if you're interested, hold on a second. One of my ears is itching, and it's under my headphones, so I gotta okay, take the headphones off of them, making a lot of noise. Scratch without it, making it obvious. Put the headphones back. Okay. Where was I? Really good hot dogs. Don't waste your time on Ballpark. Ballparks suck. If you really want the best hot dogs, what you need to do is you need to find Sabret's. Now, Sabret's hot dogs, I'm going to tell you up front, Sabret's hot dogs are a little bit more expensive than the standard hot dogs. If you can't afford Sabret's, don't worry about it. Get yourself some Gwaltneys. Gwaltneys are inexpensive, and they taste good. But if you want the best hot dogs on the market, aside from individually handmade hot dogs at like a delicatessen, the ones they make in-house, aside from those, your best bet is to go with Sabret's hot dogs. They are the best hot dogs on the planet. After Sabret's, it's a toss-up between Nathan's and Hebrew National. Okay, what am I doing wrong? What's going on? Why can't I? Okay, hold on. Oh, there it is. I don't understand what happened to my controls, but they kind of turned off for a moment. Anyway, yeah, the number 2 and number 3 spots are a tie between Hebrew National and Nathan's hot dogs. I'll tell you this, you will never go wrong eating kosher food. I know a lot of people are like, but I'm not Jewish. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Kosher food generally is healthier for you, and it'll have fewer processed ingredients, and thus will have a better taste and a better, a better, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't remember. It's, basically it's healthier for you. It's better for you, But anyway, yeah, and Hebrew National are kosher. All beef hot dogs. Get yourself some nice buns. I like a well done onion bun, and they do make hot dog buns like onion rolls. If you can get those, more power to you, because that's amazing. A little mustard, a little ketchup, a little mayonnaise, and relish, whatever you're into, sauteed onions. If you want to, caramelize some onions, that's great.